Is the brand new MCU film. Once again, from the first film stars Letitia Wright, Lupita Nyong'o, Denai Garai, Winston Duke, Martin Freeman, and Angela Bassett. And the new cast is led by Dominique Thorne, Tenoch Huerta, and Michaela Cole. And after the death of King T'Challa, the Black Panther, Wakanda is kind of hovering around with no protector. At the same time, as vibranium was finally leaked worldwide, the kingdom of Talokan, led by Namor, is under attack as people are trying to steal their vibranium, and they feel like Wakanda is one who is at fault in this situation. The film is 2 hours and 41 minutes long and is PG-13. Welcome back to a brand new movie review here on Max Talk. We're talking about the highly anticipated Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which just hit theaters today. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie rankings, and a box office breakdown show. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Comment down below. First of all, have you seen Black Panther, Wakanda Forever? If you have, did you like this film more than the first one, less than the first one? Where does this rank for you? Maybe just in phase 4. Where's it rank for you overall in the overall MCU? Would love to hear those thoughts. If you've not seen the film, tell me. Are you going to check it out this weekend? Are you waiting for it to come out on Disney Plus? Tell me where's your thought process behind this film, and if this is worth seeing in the movie theater. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And please like the video, guys. The thumbs up button, that's how you support this channel. So I was very excited for this movie. There was a lot of reasons why. For me, the first film was really good, but I didn't really see the greatness or the specialness of the first film like most people did. I feel like the first film was really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's right outside of my top 10 in the MCU. It's a really good movie. Killmonger is really fantastic in the movie, but I thought it was altered by a really weak third act action set piece involving Killmonger and Black Panther, and I just didn't feel like T'Challa was as fleshed out, or as he was very stale to me in that movie. So now I move into this movie, and obviously a lot had happened. Of course, the really bad card that got dealt to Ryan Coogler and the whole, really the whole world, was the unfortunate true life passing of Chadwick Boseman. The script was done. They were going to start shooting, and then obviously Boseman dies suddenly, and the whole movie kind of has to flip around. And that, now I want to say this, I think they handled that death. Actually, before we get into that, so you had the Chadwick Boseman death, that really made everyone kind of nervous, kind of leading into this movie. If they could pull it off, what would they do about handling the whole situation? All of those things. Let's get into my positives, my negatives, and my score. I do want to say right off the bat that I really love this movie, and I actually will start off the review by saying I do believe this is a better movie, in my opinion, than the first film. I know a lot of people will not be saying that. And I'll definitely talk about it towards the end of the video, but I just really do believe I had a much better time, and just I cared more about the characters in this film than I did in the first film, and we'll get into that in a second. One of the biggest positives of the movie is that they do really handle the T'Challa aspect of it really well. It's a really emotional movie, and when it's involving, T'Challa and his possible death, the movie is very emotional. And this is not one of the MCU movies. I think it's a breath of fresh air for the MCU, because it doesn't have a joke every 5 minutes. There are plenty of jokes in the movie, but they fit what they're in. And it's not a joke-heavy movie. It's way more of a serious MCU movie than it is a comedy movie, which is just such a breath of fresh air, because it feels like all of the MCU content has been forcefully just putting in jokes. I think this is a perfect return to form, is what I would say, for the MCU, especially in phase 4. Now, if you're not really counting Spider-Man, because that was Sony and Marvel, I do believe if you're not counting Spider-Man No Way Home, this is by far and away the best film that phase 4 has had to offer so far. Obviously, it's the last film of phase 4. There's lots of positive for me to go around with this movie. The first one is this ensemble. Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, is in the focus in this movie. After being very much a side character, a supporting piece of the first film, she is brought into the limelight as really the main character of the movie. And she is terrific in the film. Shuri was a scene stealer in the first film. And while she definitely has some humorous moments, just like she had in the first film, she is kind of going through a lot. Her father and her brother are dead. and she just doesn't see the world. She sees the world very differently. She has all of this science, all of these health, all these technology, technological advancements, and they can't save everyone. And she's trying to really understand that. She's really terrific in kind of her first kind of major leading role in a motion in a movie ever, and she absolutely delivers. You care about Shuri, and her journey is so interesting. That's one of my favorite parts of this movie, more than the first film, is that while I love Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, I thought he was the least interesting in his own movie. And I felt like the main character here, Shuri, was a lot more dynamic and a lot more interesting in this movie than T'Challa was in the first film. And I thought, because it's really Letitia Wright really delivers all the emotion, the comedy, and you really understand where she's coming from throughout the entire film. Also, Angela Bassett, who obviously she's been very heavily promoted in the trailers. She is unbelievable in this movie as Ramonda, the mother of Shuri and T'Challa, and she, I believe, deserves to be nominated for an Oscar for this performance. It's a really jaw-dropping performance. She has one or two monologues that I was kind of thinking like they would probably show this at the Oscars if she gets nominated. She's absolutely terrific, and she shows a kind of positivity and an optimism after T'Challa's death and what to look forward to, while also understanding the past and all of the ancestors and all of those things. She's going through a lot. She's the ruler of a kingdom without a protector, and her performance is so excellent in the movie. It's just jaw-dropping to watch. Denai Garaya, who is back as Okoye, she is fantastic as always, and she has really fantastic chemistry with Shuri in the movie. They're really excellent. Of course, Lupita Nyong'o, who is one of the most talented actors in the entire movie. She's really good. She is definitely, in my opinion, a better role as Nakia in this film than she did in the first film. She was very much kind of T'Challa's just girlfriend in the first film. I thought she had actually plenty more to do with her spy stuff in this film, which is very interesting. And Baku's always very good. He's in Wakanda. He's kind of the comic relief played by Winston Duke. He's just always fun to have on screen, as always. I also think the additions are excellent in this movie as well. Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, or Ironheart, as you'll know, in her own TV show coming up on Disney Plus. She was excellent, and she isn't just Tony Stark 2.0. Tony Stark's never even mentioned during the movie. It's actually just when you understand where Riri Williams is coming from, her chemistry with Letitia Wright Shuri is quite excellent, and the actual ensemble of her suit is really cool in the movie. And I think a lot of people are kind of getting worried about all of these characters are just 2.0 versions of the original Avengers. And I just didn't feel like it was ever Tony Stark 2.0 when I was watching Riri Williams, which I thought was really good about this movie. She kind of made her own character, which I liked. And then, of course, the villain of Namor, who I really call an antagonist more than a villain, played by Tenoch Huerta. Really cool villain, a really interesting villain. You understand where he is coming from. Really throughout the entire movie. Sometimes very similar to Killmonger, while you maybe agree with aspects of his motivation, he's kind of obviously going a bit too far, killing people without really thinking about it, but without thinking twice. But he's a really fascinating villain. He's seen as this god to these people of Talokan under the water. I don't want to really talk about more of his backstory because they don't really explain that in the trailer. So if you haven't seen the comics, I'll leave that to the movie to explain to you. But he's a really fascinating character, and his dynamic with Shuri is key to the movie. His dynamic with Shuri is just so crucial to the movie, and both of them go through a lot of character growth throughout the entire film, and it's very, very fascinating to watch. But I definitely want to see Tenoch Huerta get more opportunities now outside the MCU after this film, because I've never seen of him before, and he was really, really excellent in this movie. Once again, Ryan Coogler is just a masterful director. The movie is absolutely gorgeous. The underwater scenes are awesome in this movie. I actually think they're better than they are in Aquaman. And the action scenes, there's like explosive bombs, but they're like the water explosions. They're really cool in the movie. Even when they're like, swimming next to whales and stuff like that, it's just a lot of fun to look at. And it doesn't feel too CGI heavy. Obviously, it is obviously all CGI being underwater, but it just didn't feel like a video game. It actually felt like really real stuff going on, which was great. But again, Coogler's direction is just really great. It's a beautiful movie. The score, once again, bringing it back, is Ludwig Göransson, who won an Oscar for scoring the first Black Panther film. Obviously, he has done tons of things since then, including The Mandalorian. He is one of the best composers working today, and his score is so good in this movie. Very similar to the first film. It's fantastic score. The music itself, the soundtrack that's also used during the movie, is also really good. But I can listen to his Black Panther scores really all day long. They're really fantastic movie scores. And this movie does I think one of the best jobs in the MCU in a long time, balancing both emotional and comedy. It is a really emotional film, and if you're that type of person, you're probably going to cry during this movie. It's really heavy, but also it feels real, and the characters are it's just also really refreshing to see these women being this dynamic on the screen before. Leading women in a superhero film like this, just haven't really seen it that much, and it's really refreshing to see that in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I do have kind of a couple nitpicks. The first nitpick is that the movie is definitely a bit too long. It is definitely does not need to be 2 hours and 40 minutes long. It could have been like 15, 20 minutes shorter. It definitely did not need to be that long. I wasn't ever bored, but you can tell in the second act, with a particular plot line, which I'm about to get to, kind of drag the movie a bit. And let's get to that plot line, which is Ross's subplot in the movie. I just didn't feel like we needed Ross in the movie at all. Martin Freeman, happy to see him back. I like Ross as a character, but it felt like we kept cutting back and forth between Wakanda and then the underworld of Talokan, and then just to keep cutting back to Langley, Virginia with Ross. It just wasn't that interesting of a subplot whatsoever. So every time we kind of cut to Ross, it just didn't feel anywhere near as interesting as it was when we were either at Wakanda or with Namor and his world. So that subplot for me did kind of pull me out of the movie sometimes, because I just wanted to get right back to Wakanda as quickly as possible. But overall, I really did love this movie. For me, it's definitely better than the first film. I know a lot of this is going to be a hot take, but I actually prefer Black Panther: Wakanda Forever to the first film. I thought it had, while the villain in the first film was better than Namor with Killmonger, I just felt like I just cared about more of the characters. The action scenes were done a lot better here than they were in the first film, in my opinion. Especially the third act is a lot better here than it was in the first film. So overall, I'm going to give Black Panther: Wakanda Forever a 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 92% for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I really love this movie, and I know some people aren't really loving this movie, thinking it's a good movie, not a great movie. I am all about this movie. I can't wait to watch it again. I just think that the MCU needed this kind of blend of comedy and heartwarming emotion, or just emotion and seriousness that I think the MCU has been missing for years now. I think Black Panther: Wakanda Forever brings the MCU back to form to end Phase 4. So that's my thoughts, my long thoughts on this film. I will be doing a spoiler review on Monday. I'm going to give you guys all the weekend to kind of check out this movie. And then on Monday, I will drop a spoiler review of this film, going into all the details. I'm also going to drop my box office breakdown show on Monday. Coming up soon, also, I will get to my Andor review. I'm so sorry, based on my schedule. I will be doing an Andor review this weekend, so that will be, stay tuned for that. A lot more videos coming down the line. I'll see you guys soon.